and then click on the Zoom app. Oh, you're good to go.
All right. Am I live?
Yep.
Okay, everybody.
We're live.
All right. Okay, guys.
Click on the Zoom down at the bottom. There you go.
Where? Here?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. All right, guys. I thought I'd do this show. I was going to do it later, but I want to address that CFTC. It's a sad day. Very sad. You should be ashamed if you're an American. This, I do think, is a central battleground that's worth fighting for. Basically, we knew it was coming. Okay. The United States government wants control. And actually, if you want to know the truth, I think Hitler won World War II because we adopted fascism. There is a battle between left and right now, but both are socialist. The left, basically Marxists or communists, and they believe in government ownership and government control. And fascism is simply government control, but private ownership. And it's fascism is far more efficient than communism because the market to a degree still works. And this is what you're seeing now it's manifested itself in Bitcoin. And you're seeing one of the most innovative, one of my real heroes, and that is Arthur Hayes, coming under the gun of the CFTC, where they really have no jurisdiction. If they really want to go after somebody, the only deception that's been here is, and the only fraud, the only scam, are from United States citizens who have not followed what the policies are on BitMEX, because they're not allowed to trade there. The only way they're allowed to trade is, if you show up with if you're even suspected to be a U.S. citizen, they'll shut down your account. The only way you can get in and trade on BitMEX is you have to deceive BitMEX. So if anyone should be prosecuted, it should be you, who are United States citizens, who've decided to disobey your own government. I think this is a battleground, folks. If you're in the United States right now, you need to call your congressman and say, what the fuck? I'm sorry, guys. This is what makes Bitcoin so unique. Bitcoin is freedom. Bitcoin is not under government control. It's not government ownership. It's private control and private ownership. And that's what BitMEX is. And that's what makes it so unique, because it was founded on the Bitcoin standard. And they brought in a lot of very innovative and upgrades to help retail customers. They have not screwed anyone, as best they're accused constantly because people lose and they don't want to blame themselves because they don't know how to manage money. I've seen it time and again. It's really hard when you lose to blame yourself. And if you're a loser trading, hey, it's you. It's you. It's not BitMEX. It's not the market. It's because you haven't managed your funds. Okay, so what do we do now? Well, I'm rooting for, hopefully this is going to be a really, I think this is a hill worth fighting for. And I think if you're a U.S. citizen, it should be a wake-up call to you, how you are completely under the thumb of your government. The United States government is everywhere. And if they're not everywhere, they want to be everywhere. This battle is probably going to center around if the United States has been able to weasel in jurisdiction somehow, because it's always been policy by BitMEX not to do business in the United States with United States citizens. And the only way that you can And it's not their job. If the United States wants KYC and AML, but if as free individuals, we don't, it's not required. It's only required if you want control over individual, over individuals' wealth. And that's what they're doing here. And the CFTC, you need to understand who the CFTC is, guys. Every one of the commissioners on the CFTC are appointed from within the established regulated commodities futures markets that have been around for 100 years, 150 years. And it was created, and it's actually considered one of the best regulatory institutions in the United States. But you see, there is no good regulation, guys. There just isn't. We are the regulators, and we can regulate ourselves. And that's what markets, free markets, are all about. So this is a very, very sad day. And I'll be really interested to see where the discussion goes from here and who lands where, because I think that this will be an area of great divide. You're going to find a lot of people, because we're already witnessing, well, we have to be compliant. We need to do all these rules so we can build a market. This guy figured it out. He didn't raise it. He didn't raise with an ICO. He didn't raise. He didn't do it through speculative capital. He didn't, issue his own currency to do it. These were a few individuals who knew what they were doing and really built a very innovative exchange and beat the competition all to pieces. And now, of course, they're paying a price. Hopefully they've got that $1 billion where they can fight this thing. But I think this should come down to an issue of jurisdiction. And this is why the United States always wants to have these little treaties. I don't know if you understand it, but in the Constitution, treaties actually supersede our Constitution, which is a very bad aspect of our Constitution. And so once the United States government makes treaties with these foreign governments and, say, well, they did something here, they come in and assert that jurisdiction. And I think, I'm sure Arthur Hayes has done a pretty darn good job of avoiding that. So I have a feeling that the first battle here is it even going to be, do they even have any jurisdiction over it? And I don't see how they can, because the only way you can be a US citizen and trade on BitMEX is you had to deceive them. And rather than, let's be honest and not deceive, let's free up our markets. Why do exchanges not want to do business with you guys, American citizens? You ever figure that out? It's because you got your hands in everything and with every government. And this is a very, very, very sad day. And I think it is going to be a line in the sand where this is, I think, a major battle for Bitcoin and a major battle for freedom. And we'll just go from there. So I'm done with my little homily. And let's go look at the markets. I do notice there is a reaction to it. I have not been bullish on Bitcoin. Okay, I think we got problems. I think the main problem is the shitcoin market. And so I noticed that we have had a sell-off to some degree on this thing. I don't know how serious it will be. It could get very serious. What you do, well, you need to keep, I'm going to keep my balance on BitMEX. I'm still going to trade there. I'm going to bet that they've got a lot of responses to this thing, and hopefully we'll just have to wait and see. But it could have some serious consequences, because everything on BitMEX is traded with Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone, which makes it a very, very unique exchange. So you do want to limit your risk on any of these exchanges. But let's go, let me share screen. We'll go look at it. Is this it? All right, I'm getting better at this, guys.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah. See, there you go. You don't need me no more.
No, I do. So now where I do go to share up here to
Share
share.
whatever you want.
All right. So we'll go to BitMEX first. And here we are. I mean, we sold off, but nothing that seriously. Um, and I'm, I think you can buy dips and sell rallies. I was hoping we'd get a little rally because I wanted to give some back. Now that's a pretty hard dip, and whether or not it will recover immediately, I don't know. If you notice down here, I'm a buyer, but this thing could, I really think we need to have this thing break well below 10,000 before we can go up, and I might be completely wrong on that, but I've not. If you notice this whole move, I just haven't been super bullish. I'm not super bearish. I do believe we're going to have problems with the uh, uh, with the crypto world in general. This might also have a negative effect on Bitcoin for a short period of time. But the play is, hey, I hope we get the dip. I hope we go under 10,000. I hope we go under 9,000. And you guys just keep your powder dry and get ready to buy this thing again. So I think another significant thing that I want to look at is the gold trade. And it's finally started working. Now, remember, when I did this, we put it on as a seasonal trade. And I hope it's a really good learning experience for everyone. I took a sizable position on this trade because I thought the odds of it working was just huge, and the risk of not taking the position was greater than taking the position. So I actually did risk 8 Bitcoin, and I put and we went down and we barely took out the August lows in September, a little under 1950, and we've reversed ever since. I think it's over with. I think you're going to see a very substantial move in gold. I'm not of the opinion that this is simply they're printing enough money to make up for the wealth lost. I think that what was going on here has far more serious implications. I think there are going to be substantial shortages in everything in the months and years ahead, because we've just changed the whole psychology of things. Now, everybody's on the central bank bandwagon. Everybody wants the bailout. Conservatives cannot ever argue that they are physical conservatives, because they're just not. It's just that they want the bailouts to come to their businesses, and yeah, we'll throw through crumbs to the people too. The whole idea of giving people $1,000 bonus. I think it was Andrew Yang, who was a Democratic candidate, and he was just a laughing stock before this COVID situation came up. And I think there were other candidates too. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jimmy Carter wanted to do the same thing, or one of the Democratic candidates. I don't know which one of Dukakis or one of them back there, and it was, and it might have even been Obama, and he decided against it. But now it's public policy. It's not a question of how who we bail out, or even how. It's not a question of how much we bail out, but just who, and how much. And it destroys economies. It just does. A similar thing was done. I pointed it out in January 1923 when the French and the Dutch invaded Germany to collect their reparations. The German government responded by saying, "Well, go to work, folks. We'll pay you, but don't produce anything." And that's essentially what we've done. Now, has our production gone up with the work at home status? Well, yes. I think a lot of times it can be advantageous, but for the average worker, no. Most people need supervision. There's very few people that really have the self-discipline to work and without supervision from home. So we'll see. I think there's a few positive things that are going on. For example, like the learning online. These schools now that down here in Mexico, all the children are online. I think that might be a positive thing because the children are at home and they're under less control of the state. And so I don't think that's necessarily a negative thing. But the I just think you've got major problems coming because of this bailout and that it's now accepted policy, and it's kind of woke everybody up to the game. If you didn't understand how you were being robbed through central banking before, you now have been introduced to you can be part of the robber barons. Everybody just get in, get your lobby and get your share, and it destroys economies in the long run. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let's see. So we'll look at let me get the this is the trading view gold, and this thing, I'm not going to be surprised if that this thing just continues to rally and probably rally sharply from here. I don't know. I mean, I weathered the storm. I hope you did too, or I hope you traded it. I did not trade it. There were times when I was really tempted to, but I didn't because I wanted to show how a seasonal trade works. And it's a fundamental seasonal trade. You don't pay attention to the technicals. Although had we paid attention to the technicals, we could have improved our position substantially. At the very least, I should have traded it a couple times and really doubled down at that 1950, but that's fine. It's coming back fine after almost getting wiped out. I'm back here now. Whoops. I'm back here now. My equity is now about 5.5, so I'm down 2.5 Bitcoin. I'm showing that this is pretty well in line. I'm showing my average prices up here, 1948. So I did lower that a bit. It was about 1950. And I'm really just not looking for this to. I think what we're going to go in. We're starting a bull market in gold, and I think we're entering a blow-off stage in the stock market. So I think that the stock market may rally faster and harder than gold initially, but I think it will top out, and gold will not. So that's kind of the view I'm looking at. Let's go look at the. And look, it's really, I think this is telling. I've not been bullish on Bitcoin. I think we've got to consolidate in here. I think Tone Vays has a good chance of winning his bet. I think we can sell off and maybe stay down here a while. I think cryptos have to go through getting a really bad rap, and then Bitcoin emerging like a phoenix from the ashes. And that's kind of the way I'm viewing it. So I haven't changed my view at all. I just, what we do is we limit that risk, guys. We just, that's what we do. My equity has not increased very much. I started trading. Now I'm still up a little bit from when I resumed my trading, but I'm giving a good chunk of that back today on the BitMake. So here we go. Looks like we're going to keep dropping. And it looks like we could literally have some panic set in before it's over with. But I think it's going to expose the flaws in the shitcoin market and expose the strength of the fundamentals in Bitcoin. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Do they want me to cover anything? I will pull up this article. This is really sad. And it's just everything that they're charging Arthur Hayes with can be put right back on the FTC. There's no complaint. Nobody's been damned. The only complaint may be people that lost trading. If they go after anybody, they need to go after the American citizens who wanted to trade on the exchange, even though they were prohibited to do so by BitMEX because they don't want to follow under the jurisdiction of the CFTC. And this is really just, again, it's a power grab by the United States government that wants to be in everybody's business in every jurisdiction all over the world. In my day, I remember a time when the FBI was domestic. FBI is all over the world now. We have a treaty with a foreign government, then the FBI goes into those foreign governments to find the so-called criminals. So here it is as the let's say, okay, I'll just read this because I think it is significant. Digital assets hold great promise for our derivatives market and for our economy. Well, great, that's fine. And that has happened through a free market without any of your help, CFTC. Okay, where's the new? For the United States to be a global leader in this space, now for the United States to have global control of this space, it is imperative that we root out illegal activity like that alleged in this case. Well, what's the illegal activity? They didn't do anything wrong. They did not want to do business with United States citizens. United States citizens wanted to do business with BitMEX, and BitMEX, to avoid the jurisdiction, did not do business with you guys unless you deceive them through using a VPN. New and innovative financial products, yes, like those that BitMEX created, can flourish only if the market has integrity. Well, you just killed the integrity of BitMEX because BitMEX has impeccable integrity. It's the CFTC that has no integrity. We can't allow bad actors that break the law to gain advantage over exchanges that are doing the right thing by complying with our rules. Sorry, guys, it's your regulated exchanges that are the criminals, and you know darn good and well, all of you exchanges have this commission stacked, and you're going after, oh, we're for a free market. No, you're fascists, guys. You are fascists. You believe in private ownership, but government control, and you're using the government to shut down your competition. That is fascism. All right. As the CFTC has made clear, registration requirements are a cornerstone of a regulatory framework that protects Americans and the U.S. financial markets. Fine. So if you live in America, you know, and the exchange says, we don't want your business, and then you deceive the company so you can trade there because you know it's a superior exchange, you're the one that should be prosecuted. You are the ones that should be prosecuted, and not the business that was saying, we don't want your business, please. If we find out you're an American, we're going to shut down your account. Not only do they shut down your account, but they shut down referral programs and everything else. They have made a good faith effort not to do business with Americans. You need to get, if you're an American citizen, you need to call your congressman now, call your senator now, say this needs to stop. We need to have free markets and not a fascist regulated market that is stifling innovation. Effective anti-money laundering procedures are among the fundamental requirements of intermediaries. Well, don't think so. Whether the traditional products or growing digital asset market. The action show the CFTC will continue to work vigilantly to protect these markets. No, you're not. You're destroying the markets. What you're protecting is your control, and you want to know what everybody is up to, legal or otherwise, or illegal. And there is this anti-money laundering is simply a fictitious creation so that they can get their hands on every little thing to make sure they get their cut of whatever business is emerging. Okay. In its continuing litigation against the defendants, the CFTC seeks disgorgement of any ill-gotten gains. Well, they don't have any ill-gotten gains. Civil monetary policies, they're not in the United States, fellas. How do you assert jurisdiction? Restitution for the benefit of customers. What kind of restitution? There's nothing lost here. They've done nothing but create a service. The customers deceived BitMEX to trade there. And they're the ones that, if there's any fraud that's been committed, it's the United States citizens that chose to disobey their own laws that they're responsible for because they elected their public officials. And now, instead of prosecuting the citizens, they go after an innocent company who did their best not to do business with United States citizens. Okay. Anyway, this is just, okay, and here it is. Case background. Complaint alleges that from at least November 2014 through the present, and at the direction of Hayes, Dalo, and Reed, BitMEX has illegally offered leveraged retail commodity transactions, futures, options, and swaps on cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin, allowing traders to leverage up to 100 to 1 when entering a transaction. According to the complaint, BitMEX has facilitated cryptocurrency derivative transactions with an aggregate notional value of trillions of dollars, and has earned fees of more than $1 billion since beginning in 2014. Hats off to you, Arthur Hayes. I'm glad to see a successful exchange that beat every regulated exchange in the marketplace. Yet, as alleged in the complaint, BitMEX has failed to implement the most basic compliance procedures required of financial institutions that impact the U.S. markets. He's not a U.S. market. It doesn't. It impacts you only because people want out from under your thumb, CFTC. They want out from under your thumb, SEC. They want to be able to handle their own money in their way and without your control. The complaint charges BitMEX with, okay. The complaint further charges BitMEX with violating CFTC rules by failing to implement Know Your Customer. Well, they're not under CFT's jurisdiction. Sorry. You know, they did their best to not fall under your jurisdiction. They're not in the United States. They don't trade for U.S. citizens. If they find somebody that deceived them, they immediately shut down the account. They return the funds. They don't steal the funds or anything like that. They send you all your funds. If you're on a referral program, yeah, they're going to break that connection because what you've done is you're giving them a nexus for this compliance. This is what the CFTC is saying. We have jurisdiction because people deceive the company into trading with the company. No, that does not give you jurisdiction, CFTC. Okay, BitMEX touts itself as the world's largest crypto derivatives platform. Yes, and for good reason. With billions of dollars traded each day, much of this volume and related transactions derives from the operation of the platform from the U.S. and its extensive solicitation and access to U.S. customers, the complaint alleges. Nevertheless, BitMEX has failed to register with the CFTC. They didn't fail to. They don't want to. They don't take U.S. customers. And has failed to implement key safeguards required by the CEA and CFTC's regulations. They don't fall under your jurisdiction, CFTC. You've overreached. This is where the battleground is. You have no jurisdiction over something. This exchange does not do business with anyone in the United States. If they find out that you are a U.S. citizen, they shut down the account. The only way that you can open an account and be a U.S. citizen, you have to deceive the exchange. You have to deceive them, and they put in policies to even overcome that. If they find out that you're even logging in through a U.S. account. I can be in Mexico and log in through a United States phone, and my wife did. She has a U.S. number. She logged in through a United States phone, and they just about closed her account down. We had to go back through and show, and we are who we are, or yes, so who she is, that she's not a U.S. citizen, and that she doesn't follow under the CFTC rules. And that's the only way that we got that account. When I was trading under my name, as soon as I had no case, they said, sorry, we didn't know that. We now know that you're a U.S. citizen, or that you are trading within the United States or within a U.S. jurisdiction, and we don't want your business. And that was the right and only thing to do. All right. So it's a very, very sad day. I'm going to be really interested to see where all the opinions line up on this issue, because I think it's a very important fundamental issue. This is probably the most fundamental Bitcoin issue to raise its head in years. And I think this is the battleground where if you're in the United States, you need to realize you no longer live in the land of the free. And if you're not willing to fight this thing, then you're not part of the home of the brave, because you're a pussy. And I'll end it at that. All right. Okay. Well, I don't believe whether U.S. citizens deceive. I don't. No, I agree with that. It doesn't have anything to do with jurisdiction. But I say, if they really wanted to go after people, go after the people that have committed the fraud, and the people that are committing the fraud are the U.S. citizens that are deceiving BitMEX. But they don't want to go after that. That would be very unpopular, and people would be screaming, "Oh, don't come after me! Don't come after me!" Basically, you want to be free to be deceptive and have no consequences. And so if you like that situation, then that's exactly what fascism is. You have government control and private ownership. Say, yeah, I want to trade there, but if I get in trouble, it's not my fault. They let me do it. No, sorry. Instead, the deception would be a question on the fact of the merits of the case. Well, they can't, there's no jurisdiction if they haven't, it's not merit. Jurisdiction has nothing to do with merit at all. Jurisdiction is, can they legally even pursue you? And they, that is what the United States enters into all these treaties for, because they want jurisdiction everywhere. And this is exactly what this game is. And I can assure you that this action, which, most of us saw coming, it's authored by BitMEX's competition in the United States. It's authored by the regulated exchanges, by the COMEX, by the CFTC, by one thing I do want to check, we ought to check and see how the open interest is. They're probably knocking the open. I'm sure that people want to probably exit BitMEX as far as exposure. So let's go see if we can find that. What is that? All right, I think I'd be able to pull this up on Skew. Am I still screen sharing, Eddie? I guess I am.
Look up there.
All right, so let's go look at this.
Yep, you're sharing. Look up there.
All right. Okay, so we're getting some liquidations here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You're seeing a sharp decrease in open interest, guys. Okay. Since that announcement came out, you can see this drop. Oops. And yeah, I mean, who's behind this is back at the CME Bitcoin futures, and you're seeing the BitMEX open interest decline. Now we're really in a trading range. I don't, if you want to know the truth, I'm getting bullish on Bitcoin now because I think that any panic that comes in over this is premature. I think this is going to be a long battle. I do think that there are probably a lot of Bitcoin interests that also, there's a lot of us that really want to see BitMEX survive. And so it will be interesting to see what happens in the courts. I hope that Arthur stays strong. I hope that he doesn't cave. I hope that he doesn't compromise. I think it's very important that on this issue, it not be compromised. Somewhere we have to turn the markets away from being socialistic. And by socialistic, I mean, I include communistic or Marxism and fascism. And the American economy, American is no longer the land of the free and home of the brave. We've essentially, Hitler won the war, and we've completely adopted, the fascist model because it's very efficient. You can accomplish not necessarily what the market wants done, but what you want done as a special interest. And so that's why we have, basically a bunch of thugs that go in and use government force to squelch the competition. And that's what's being done here.
We got questions.
No. Yeah, ban BBC HD. It's not pathetic. That's what they have to do. Their argument and their basis for this argument is we do not want, because of the CFTC, because of the regulation, we do not want United States business. Now, what's pathetic is not that they close your account. What's pathetic is the United States regulation that make people, it's the U.S. regulation that's pathetic. They have no choice. If they welcome and take U.S. business, then they would have jurisdiction. And I think the whole issue in this case is does the CFTC have any jurisdiction when BitMEX has done its level best and in good faith to weed out anyone? The first thing that they do, they don't let you, if you admit the truth that you're a U.S. citizen, you can't open an account. Okay. Now, the only other way you can open it is you have to say, I'm not a U.S. citizen, and then you have to log in through an IP address that's outside of the United States. And they take your word that you're not a liar. But now I know that's why they're going to be doing more and more KYC, know your customer, because that way they can screen them. It's not, they want to screen, they want to keep U.S. citizens out of their market because they don't want to follow the United States government basically says, if you're in the United States and you trade on the exchange, and they have treaties all over the world, it's almost impossible to get around it. But if you're a U.S. citizen and you trade on this exchange, we have jurisdiction to regulate you. That's what they say. And so BitMEX in response to that, well, you know what? We don't want to be under your regulation, so we just won't trade with United States citizens. If you open up an exchange and you deceive them and make them think that, well, I'm not a U.S. citizen, I just have this foreign IP address, then okay, and they find out otherwise, they immediately shut down your account. That's what they have to do. Otherwise, they're not acting in good faith to restrict U.S. customers. Okay, I don't know about the rumors that they've arrested BitMEX, what is that, chief CTO? I don't know which one that is. I would like to know where they would have arrested him. I think this is really going to be a big battle. This is really important, guys. Okay. Okay, let's go look at this Twitter lawmaster status. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I can do that. How can I, Eddie? How can I get to Shively? Shively, can you send me that? Can you send me that link on your private Telegram? Let me see if I can get it.
He wants to what?
Okay, thanks, Shiv. I got it. That's not it. Oh, let me try it again. Oh, there it is. No.
I don't know. Is it that?
Okay. Oh, wow. There it is. Breaking news update. So,
Yeah. So click on that. Oh, go back.
I don't know how to get to it.
Go here. Go on Twitter.
No, it's not. He gave it to me here. He's got it on this here. Is that Twitter?
I think so.
Yeah, I need the
Here,
original.
show thread here.
That's a thread. I don't want the thread. I want this indictment. I don't know.
Oh, this has been removed.
Ah, wow. Okay, it's been removed, guys.
Been removed. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Shit, that thing's been removed already. This is big shit.
No, that's not it.
See if.
Is it?
Now, this is the same old thing. I don't think this has any more on it. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. I'm old. I have to pee.
He got up to the middle of the show. Hey guys, Ugly's in the bathroom. Hold on. That's a good one.
All right. All right. Well, let me. Yeah, I don't know how to get to that article. All right, so let me scroll up. How do I, Eddie?
Yeah.
How do I scroll on this?
Okay, hold on.
Scroll about
Here?
saying, yeah, okay, okay, I don't know, okay, okay. Okay, keep on going down. Lawmasters. A ban. None of this is BitMEX. No, it's not BitMEX's fault. This is a power play, guys. This is a power play from the powers that be, from the fascists that are inside your government, and they're using the CFTC to shut down their competition, and who did their best to avoid it so they could operate in a free market and show how a market should really operate instead of how it works on the United States futures exchanges that are heavily regulated. Yeah, the problem is, yeah, that's the whole thing. But who decides? I don't know how a United States court can decide whether or not they have jurisdiction. And yet that's who it is. I mean, basically, they're going to assert that they do because it's a power play. And but that is going to be, I would think, their number one issue, that they just do not have there. Secondly, there is no merit to the case either, but I think the jurisdiction is really the big issue, because what it is the United States government wants everybody under their thumb. Okay. Okay. Oh, Larry Chernick. Oh, yeah, he's done some good stuff. Larry Chernick is okay. Larry Chernick, he's the guy that exposed the Epstein.
Epstein thing?
Yeah, he was the one. He actually broke it before the Miami Herald. So I think that's who Chernick is. So he's a pretty legitimate source. And
I'm moving the mouse.
okay, move it down if you can. See what else is on there. Yeah, it got removed. I can't find it. Okay.
Yep, it got removed. We just checked it. Here it is. Again, it's same thing.
Okay, Larry Chernick. Is that Larry Chernick there? Okay.
Removed.
Yeah, we're showing it's removed, guys. I can't get it. Let me Google it. Let me see if I can Google it here. Oh, I'm not screen sharing. Am I screen sharing now or no? Okay. When did I exit that? Did you exit it?
Yeah, you were.
Huh?
You were
When
you
I
were
went
on that page and you were talking. So.
All right. So let me see if I can
first
find
and
it.
then you can share it.
Yeah, I mean, it may be, but and then the next thing they might do is just try and shut down BitMakes entirely. But hopefully they're smart enough in their IT department that they won't be able to figure out how to do that one. I don't see anything. I can't see anything where anybody's been arrested. It doesn't show up on Google.
Shipping, type something.
Okay, I'll try the new one. All right. They remain at large, and they should remain at large. They need to stay in a jurisdiction where the United States can't touch them. This is going to be actually more important, I think, than who's the guy in Russia. This is going to be on the level of Assange and the other guy in Russia, and this is going to be a big story. Okay. Let's see what this is about. Here's a redacted indictment. So, God dang, it doesn't show up. I can't get the redacted indictment.
Nope.
No.
It's been removed.
It's been removed, guys. I can't. Can you copy it? Can you send me a picture of it?
There's a comment up there.
Yes, I do think that this is the declaration of war. And I think it's this is one of our very first battles. And you may not like Arthur Hayes, but you need to understand what he's done for everyone. And we really need to get in his corner on this one. So, yeah, this is some, let's see if this is it. Boom.
Same thing, isn't it?
The block.
Yeah, if you click on it, it tells you it's been removed. Okay. Scroll down.
Okay, let me see if I can find it here.
All right, try it now.
No, it's all been removed. Holy shit, guys. Well, I'm not very good at this stuff, guys, but this is not looking good. This is, let's see what this is.
Because no one did it part.
Hmm?
Nope.
Can't get it, guys.
I think Shibley sent something.
Yeah, this is some serious shit. Let me copy this. Yeah, but I go to the thread, guys, and I can't get to, I mean, here it is. Can you put, how do I put this on here? I can't, I can put it on the Telegram group.
Okay, copy.
I'll put it on the Telegram group, but yeah, I mean, this is
just paste, I guess.
Yeah, this is the opening volley. This really is the opening volley of some deep shit going on.
I don't know where it is.
Okay, is this it? No. All right. All right, I'll just put it there. See, okay, let me see if I can catch it. Anything here? No. Yep. Well, here's one little tweet. I'll copy this. And this one says that Hayes, Dalo, and Dwyer are remain at large. Well, great. So this is not civil anymore, guys.
Oh, I guess
Apparently,
someone was
this is gonna be criminal, and that changes the whole thing. And that I figured that's what it had to be. They're gonna make this criminal.
All right. Someone was arrested, I guess.
All right. Well, I don't have enough Bitcoin on that I'm going to worry about it, guys. And if it can be shut down, they only release it every 24 hours. If you ask for a request and they get shut down in the meantime, you're not going to get it anyway. So I certainly wouldn't add anything to what you have there. And you did see that the open interest has been dropping substantially. Gosh, I wish I could. Oh, maybe. I got the indictment. There we go. Let me start reading this. Can I do screen share now?
Yeah. Go back to the. Go back to your image over there.
Okay, this is a copy of the sealed indictment.
Go there. The image. Okay. Make green arrow. There you go. And
Okay.
share down at the bottom. There you go. And there it is. Over here at the bottom. There. That's it.
Okay.
Click share ugly over there.
Okay, what do you guys think? Should I go ahead and tweet this out and invite other people to get on this thing? Because I do think this is very significant. So here is a copy of the sealed indictment. And again, so it's a sealed indictment, and it looks like it's going to be criminal. It's not going to be just civil. And it's Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, Samuel Reed, and Gregory Dwyer. And the grand jury charges at all times or online trade. Okay, that makes it solicits, among other things, futures contract juries. Since its launch in November 2014 and continuing up and including the present, BitMEX has actively sought to and has in fact served thousands of customers loaded. Okay, here is going to be the question. BitMEX has actively sought and has in fact served thousands of customers. Now, they have served thousands of customers, but have they actively sought them in the United States? No, quite the contrary. if they find out that you're a United States citizen, and this is what the jurisdiction issue is going to be about. Okay. And after U.S. market, and okay. Okay. So initially 2014, and that probably is true, that initially they weren't familiar with all of the regulations. So they might be vulnerable to the period from 2014 to 15, but once they started, they actively closed down anybody that was a U.S. citizen. So this is going to be, that would be my very first thing to go into, is that this thing, do they have jurisdiction? I would be fighting it from that jurisdiction angle. From at least in or about September 15th and continuing up and including the present, the defendants willfully failed to establish, implement, and maintain an adequate anti-money laundering program, including an adequate customer identification program, more commonly referred to as Know Your Customer program for BitMEX, in violation of the Bank Secrecy Act. Okay, but what's that got to do with CFTC? The Bank Secrecy Act is amended by the Patriot Act. There we go, guys. Wonderful result of 9/11, a wonderful Patriot Act that everybody wanted, because we just got hit, the Twin Towers just got hit, and terrorists are going to come after us next. Well, your terrorists are in your own government. It's CFTC who's the terrorist. The Bank of BSA, Bank of Secrecy Act, imposes reporting, record-keeping controls requirements covered in financial institutions. So they're claiming because the U.S. citizens were trading on it, now that's where they have the jurisdiction. So again, this issue has to be fought on a jurisdictional basis. If they lose the jurisdiction, they're going to lose the case, most likely. Okay, I'll read this. The CEA commodity, I'm not sure what that CEA is. The CEA requires an entity to register as a FCM, okay, Futures Commission merchant, with the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission, if it solicits, accepts orders for commodity futures, contract swaps, retail transactions, or in connection with such activity accepts any money or property to margin, guarantee, or secure any trades or contracts that result or may result therein. Bitcoin and other virtual currencies are commodities under the CEA. All right. So that's what they're asserting. If you trade, if you do any business with any U.S. citizen, then we have jurisdiction, and of course they're not going to blame the people that deceive BitMEX and making them think they're not a U.S. citizen. They're going to blame them for, they're saying, well, you just have enough compliance regulations in place to catch everybody. But they're basically saying, if one person slips through, then that gives us jurisdiction. Under the BSA, and FCM must establish an anti-money laundering program that is approved by senior management and that includes at minimum policies, procedures, and internal controls reasonably designed to prevent the financial institution from being used for money laundering or financing terrorist activities. Okay. Amazing. Money laundering or financial terrorist activities. What in the heck is money laundering? Well, money laundering is, the way they define it is if you have ill-gotten gains and you try and you put it into some kind of launder, so it comes out and looks like it comes from somewhere else, then that's money laundering. Okay. FCMs must also file suspicious activity reports. Well, I get SARs filed against me all the time. Every bank that I open, because I trade Bitcoin, I have SARs. I've had a half a dozen banks shut me down. And this is why we need to develop sound commercial banking on Bitcoin. This is, oh, wow. Okay. All right. So other than assets of at least $5,000 if the FCM knows, suspects, or has reason to suspect, among other things, the transaction involves funds derived from illegal activity or that FCM is being used to facilitate criminal activity. Well, as part of the AML program, an FCM must implement a written KYC program that includes risk-based procedures for verifying the identity of each customer to the extent reasonable and practical. Well, they were doing that, I think, by any reasonable and practical way. BitMEX was not doing business with U.S. citizens unless you deceive them into doing business with them. At a minimum, FCN must collect the name, date, birth, address, government identification number of each customer prior to account opening and must take steps to verify that the information in it is reasonable. KYC program must also include procedures for determining whether a customer appears on any list of known suspected terrorists or terrorist organizations. Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, Samuel Reed are founders of BitMEX. Yes, they are. The founders of BitMEX in or about January 2014. Thank you very much for providing us this wonderful platform, guys. And they began to support trading in or about November 2014. BitMEX has all the relative times been owned and operated by and through one or more parent companies. And us and the company has subsidiaries and affiliates registered in the United States and elsewhere that conduct BitMEX operations and employ staff involved in BitMEX's operations. From its founding to present, the company has never had physical presence in the Seychelles. Okay, that's fine. That's from the founding of the company, continuing up to including at least July 2019. The founders were co-owners of the company and collectively held approximately 90% ownership of the company. That's correct. These guys founded a company with their own capital. They didn't depend on an ICO. They didn't depend on shitcoin. If they want to go after, let's go after the shitcoin business and not an honest platform that's been offering a wonderful service. The founders have also all relevant times controlled the company. Arthur Hayes has been at all times chief executive officer. Benjamin Dalo, the defendant, was at least from March 2015 till at least January 2018 chief operating officer of the company and was chief strategy officer of the company from at least 2018 until 2019. Samuel Reed, the defendant, has been at all times the chief technology officer of the company. Greg Dyer is a longtime friend and former colleague of Arthur Hayes. The defendant, Dwyer, was hired by the company as its first non-founder employee in or about late 2015. Dyer was also served in a variety of functions at the company, including the head of business development. From in or about November 2014 and continuing up to and including at least in or about 2020, BitMEX has offered and allowed its customers to trade Bitcoin futures and value of which are derived by references to the Bitcoin US dollar exchange as a published on third-party cryptocurrency exchange at various times since its launch. In or about November 2014, BitMEX expanded its product offering to include additional futures contracts based on cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin and the US dollar or the US dollar. From in or about 2016 and continuing at least in or about September 2020, BitMEX has also offered and allowed its customers to trade Bitcoin perpetual swap. Another innovative idea from these great entrepreneurs, who were able to develop these innovations on a free market. The value of which is derived by reference of Bitcoin US dollar exchange rate as published by a third-party crypto exchange. From in or about November 2014 and continuing up to and including at least in September 2020, BitMEX has accepted Bitcoin to margin customer trades. Yes, and only Bitcoin. In or about 2015, BitMEX offered up to 50 times leverage on certain of its products. Since at least or about March 2017, BitMEX has offered up to 100 times leverage on certain products at all levels. At all relevant times, marginal business has been denominated in Bitcoin, correct? How long is this thing? I don't want to keep going forever. Okay, it's not very long. All right, let's go back to 6. Okay. And okay, fee, everything's collected in Bitcoin, settled in Bitcoin. So because BitMEX transacts with customers solely in Bitcoin, this fee to guarantee trade settlement is collected in Bitcoin. Okay. Yeah, they started the insurance fund, which is another great idea. From about the BitMEX, specifically BitMEX operates an insurance fund that is used to guarantee the shortfall in the event one counterparty to a trade on a BitMEX goes into bankruptcy. BitMEX pays for the insurance fund by charging its customers a fee on the value of the positions that remain open at the end of each hour trading window. All right. Okay. Yeah, from in or about November 2014 and continuing up to, hey, you know what? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you tweet out? Let's go ahead and make this public because I think other people will be interested in this. Was member only, but go ahead and tweet it.
You want me to put it live?
I'll tweet it out. Yeah, I'll just tweet it out live.
Yeah, you can do it there.
Yeah, I'll do it here.
I'll change the setting here.
I'll just tweet it out quick.
Okay. I'll change the setting here to public, right?
What's the name of this thing again? Join me as we outline sealed indictment.
It's Bitcoin Gold AMA, October 1st, 2020. I put it public, so you're on Twitter.
As we outline BitMEX sealed.
You are on Twitter, Ugly.
Okay. Oh, we're on Twitter? Okay. And let me send the link then too. They can.
Yeah, you're. I can see you tweeting it out now.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. All right. I'm back. Let's go back to the sealed indictment. Okay, guys, if you're joining me late, I'm just going through the sealed indictment. I think this is basically the first salvo of a declaration of war on Bitcoin. And we need to go through this. We need to support Arthur Hayes. This is definitely an attack from the FTC and basically the regulated exchanges in the United States who stacked the commission of the CFTC. And so apparently there is a criminal, we're reviewing right now a sealed indictment, and this looks like it's going to be criminal rather than civil. If anything, it should all be civil, but this is a declaration of war. This is the first salvo of declaration by the United States of America on a free market and Bitcoin. Remember, we are all socialists now, except if you're a Bitcoiner. The left are basically Marxists or communists, and they believe that the government should own and control. There should be government and ownership and control of everything, of all assets. Fascism is just a little bit different, much more efficient, and that's basically they advocate government, private ownership, but government control. And basically, as we see, the bailout is now everybody's becoming a fascist, and everybody's trying to get their hand in the pie. And this example is simply an example of those quote free market operators that operate the regulated exchanges in the United States are trying to shut down a free market Bitcoin exchange. So we've been going through and reading this sealed indictment, which again, I don't see the date on it, but it was filed in the Southern District of New York. And so we're outlining it. I'm on page 6 now, and I'll resume where I took off. All right, so okay, I think we left off about here. I'll start at 14, from in or about May 2016 and continuing up to and including at least about September 2020, BitMEX has also offered and allowed its customers to trade a Bitcoin perpetual swap, another great innovation by Arthur Hayes and his wonderful group of Bitcoin entrepreneurs. The value of which is derived by reference to the Bitcoin US dollar exchange rate as published on a third-party crypto exchange. From in or about November 2014 and continuing up to and including at least in or about September 2020, BitMEX has accepted Bitcoin to margin customer trades. In or about 2015, BitMEX offered up to 50 times leverage on certain of its products. Since it has at least in or about March 2017, BitMEX has offered up to 100 times leverage on certain of its products. At all times, margin on BitMEX has been denominated in Bitcoin. From in or about November 2014 and continuing up to and including at least in or about 2020, BitMEX has accepted Bitcoin to guarantee customer trades. Specifically, BitMEX operates an insurance fund, another wonderful innovation by free market entrepreneurs who operate on Bitcoin exclusively and try to keep U.S. citizens from trading on their exchange. The only way, if you're a U.S. citizen and can trade on BitMEX, is you had to deceive them in some way and lie to them that you're not a U.S. citizen, because if you even log in, my wife has a United States phone and she once logged in. She's Mexican, but she logged in with her United States phone number. They closed her account down, and we were already KYC and said, look, we just have we have Mexican phones and we have US phones. And just because we log in off a US number does not mean that she's a US citizen or has anything to do with the United States. Anyway, so from in or about November 2014 and continuing up to and including at least in or about 2020, BitMEX has accepted Bitcoin to guarantee the customer trades. They call it the insurance fund. It uses to guarantee a shortfall in the event that one counterparty to a trade on BitMEX goes into bankruptcy. Yes, BitMEX pays for the insurance fund by charging its customers a fee on the value of the positions that remain open at the end of the 8-hour trading window. Because BitMEX transacts with its customers solely in Bitcoin, this fee to guarantee trade settlement is collected in Bitcoin. Oh, great, another wonderful innovation, an innovation that you regulated exchanges have never been able to figure out, because if you trade on a regulated exchange and you're in the futures market and that futures market position goes against you and you can't get out, the exchange member will attach all of your assets to collect the margin call. So what we've offered here is a new innovation to help retail customers in the marketplace. And U.S. citizens want to do business on it, but BitMEX doesn't want to be under the authority of the CFTC, so they refuse doing business if you're a U.S. citizen. From in or about November 2014 and continuing up to and including this at least in or about 2020, BitMEX has solicited and accepted offers on its cryptocurrency futures and swaps from customers located in the United States, including individual retail customers. Now that it looks like that is not a true statement, because earlier we were reading it was only for a short period of time in 2014 to 2015 that they solicited and accepted officers to customers located in the United States. They did not. In fact, they specifically avoided that, and I think when they initially started out, maybe for the first 6 months or a year, that was the case. That was actually outlined in the CFTC, I think in the CFTC complaint that we were looking at. As of in or about 2018, for example, okay, internal BitMEX records reflected thousands of BitMEX accounts with United States location information that were enabled for trading. All right, well, let's see if that's really true. Because BitMEX, okay, that would be very surprising, because for years and years and years, if you even had a IP address that had the United States on it, you got shut down. In fact, my wife trades on BitMEX, and she is Mexican, and she actually logged in from her cell phone, which had a US number on it, and BitMEX immediately flagged her and shut down the account until she could reestablish, and she'd already established who she was and KYC'd with them, but she had to reestablish the KYC, and that they did allow the account to resume. But if you can't show that, if you can't show that you're not a U.S. citizen, that account is closed. You lose all your affiliates. They want nothing to do with you. If you, from all of my experience, this simply is not true. So that will have to come if they get through the jurisdiction. Right now, I think the biggest case for BitMEX is, does the CFTC or does the United States have any jurisdiction over this at all? And I think that's where this is where the battle has to be fought. As of in or about September 28th, for example, internal, okay, that's okay. Because BitMEX is a derivatives exchange that offers and sells commodity futures and swaps in retail and non-retail customers in the US, and in connection with such offers and sales accepted a property to margin, guarantee, and secure those trades and contracts. It was required to register with the CFTC as a futures commission, FCM as futures commission merchant. At no point has BitMEX registered as a futures commission merchant. Okay, but that's going to be the big question. Have they ever offered to sell futures or swaps to retail or not, to U.S. customers? And basically, I think they have a very good faith effort. And you know, my good friend Tone Vase is a very good example of that, because once he was flagged as being a U.S. citizen, they not only shut down his account, and incidentally, when they shut down your account, they don't steal your funds, they return all your funds, but you don't get any affiliate referrals, because they don't want that nexus. They don't want any nexus to any U.S. citizen. Guys, if you want to be, you need to change your laws in the United States. This complaint, if you're a United States citizen, you should be calling your congressman and senator right now and have them drop this anti-free market. It's a hit. It's an assassination attempt right now for a legitimate business. Okay. From at least in or about 2017 through in or about early 2019, BitMEX personnel, including Gregory Dwyer and others, conducted BitMEX operations from an office in Manhattan, New York, including but not limited to customer support, business development, and marketing, involving customers located in the United States and elsewhere. The defendants deliberately failed to implement BSA-compliant AML and KYC programs at BitMEX. Well, I think they're going to have a hard time showing that, because I think they deliberately did implement their implementation was refuse to take U.S. customers. And the only way you could trade with them is in some degree or manner, you had to deceive BitMEX into thinking that you were not a U.S. citizen. Okay, in their respective roles as executives each willfully caused, aided, abetted, and conspired to commit violations of Bank Secrecy Act at BitMEX. Eddie, can you give me something to drink? What do we have in there? Do you have water?
I think
Water.
so. I think
If you don't have a water, then I'll have the beer. The beer you brought me last night. Because I'm gonna wreck my voice.
You got a water.
Okay, that'll help. Actually, I would prefer the beer, but
All right, here.
no.
It's a tall boy, so
No.
you don't want to be with them.
All right. So here they are in their respective roles. Each they willfully caused, aided, and abetted, and conspired to commit violations of Bank Secrecy Act at BitMEX. At all times relevant to this indictment, Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, Samuel Reed, Gregory Dyer, and the defense. You're all my heroes, guys. The criminals are your prosecutors. The criminals that need to be thrown in jail are the commissioners of the CFTC, who are disrupting the only free market we have, which is Bitcoin. Okay. By or at least in or about September 2015, okay, the defendants understood that such AML KYC requirements would in fact apply to BitMEX if it served U.S. customers. Okay, right, and so they didn't want U.S. customers. Okay, so let's see. And it served customers and operated within the United States. The defendants thus took affirmative steps. Well, that's good. Purportedly designed to exempt BitMEX from application of U.S. laws like AML and KYC requirements. For example, the defendants caused the company to formally incorporate in the Seychelles, a jurisdiction they believed had less stringent regulation, okay, and from which they could still serve U.S. customers and operate within the United States without performing AML and KYC. Well, I don't know about that last part because they did implement. They just didn't implement the rules that you wanted. They did a good faith screening on their own. Indeed, Hayes, the defendant, bragged in on or about, 2019, that the Seychelles was a more friendly jurisdiction for BitMEX because it costs less to bribe Seychelles authorities, just a coconut, than it would be to bribe regulators in the United States and elsewhere. Exactly. Well, good. So you admitted that you guys are open to bribery. Is that what we're going to say? That it looks like we got the wrong people that are being indicted here. Mm-hmm. Those affirmative steps purportedly designed to exempt BitMEX and if you don't think of America, politicians and lawmakers aren't bribed, why do you think they have all of these PACs and the Clinton Foundation? Anyway, so those affirmative steps purportedly designed to exempt BitMEX from application of U.S. law demonstrate that from in or about September 2015 and continuing up to and including in at least September 2020, Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, Samuel Reed, and Gregory Dwyer, the defendants willfully caused BitMEX to reject adoption or implementation of BSA-compliant AML and KYC programs. For instance, the defendants caused BitMEX to reject adoption or implementation of formal policies. Okay. Procedures, internal controls for AML. Well, they just didn't adopt your controls, what you wanted. They simply did their best to not do business with the United States citizens. And they did that in good faith and literally shut down thousands of accounts that were owned and controlled by United States citizens. Okay. and internal controls, independent compliance testing for AML, and training for appropriate personnel in AML. So basically what's happening here is the United States is assuming jurisdiction when the issue is, do they have jurisdiction? And of course, my view is, of course, they don't. Are they going to seize it through force? Yes, they probably, it looks like they might be successful in doing that. And if so, it's a huge loss for Bitcoin and freedom. So I do think this is a battleground, and this is a hill that we need to be fighting the first Bitcoin battle. This is the first salvo of the Bitcoin government regulation wars. Okay, because BitMEX at no relevant time had an adequate KYC program. Well, now who gets to decide what adequate is? If you run my own business, I think I should be able to determine what is adequate. I should be able to determine if I accept your credit or not. I should be able to determine, okay, we don't want US businesses. How can we best screen this and operate a business efficiently without it being, overly wrapped up in red tape? And I think they show that they had good faith compliance. From its launch in or about November 2014 and continuing up to including at least in or about September 2020, BitMEX did not file any SARS reports of suspected illegal activity on BitMEX, of course, because they just didn't want US business. If they found out you're US, they closed your account. Again, what's happening here is the indictment is assuming jurisdiction that somehow the United States government has control over a foreign corporation. The defense also caused BitMEX to allow customers, including individual retail customers, to register and trade without providing sufficient identification information or documents to allow BitMEX to form a reasonable belief that it knows the true identity of its customers. Well, do they even fall under the KYC AML laws? If they're not operating within the United States or United States jurisdictions, and then this, again, what they're doing is they're assuming the consequent here, which is a logical fallacy. Prior to, in or about 2020, customers could register to trade on BitMEX anonymously, okay, by providing only a verified email address and without providing any identifying information or documentation, okay? Indeed, in its initial marketing period of 2015, BitMEX's website expressly advertised no real name or other advanced verification is required on BitMEX. Wow, amazing. Amazing how popular that is. So people don't want to give up all their information to some government entity so they know, what color they shit at night. As a result of its failure to implement AML and KYC programs, BitMEX made itself available as a vehicle for money laundering and sanctions violations. For example, in or about May 2018, Arthur Hayes, a defendant, was notified of claims that BitMEX was being used to launder the proceeds of a cryptocurrency hack. BitMEX did not implement a formal AML policy in response to this notification. Further, internal BitMEX reports identified the customers located in Iran who are subject to U.S. sanctions. Okay, fine, but we don't want to do business in the U.S. jurisdiction. We did everything we could to avoid it. We can do business whoever we want. You don't get to decide. Again, freedom. Bitcoin is freedom. Bitcoin socialism is either government control and government ownership. That's fascism. I'm sorry, that's communism or Marxism. And then you have fascism, which is really the United States, which is you have government control but private ownership. Bitcoin is you have private ownership and private control. And this is what governments object to. They do not want anyone to have private ownership and private control, and that's why this is the opening salvo against Bitcoin. Okay. Okay, so for Hayes and Dalo, the defendant personally communicated with BitMEX customers who self-identified as Iranian. BitMEX did not implement formal AMLC policy in response to this Iranian customer activity. Well, it's because they don't fall under your jurisdiction. They can choose to do business with an Iranian and an Israeli, a Muslim, a Jew. It's their decision. It's their business. From, in, or about September. Guys, and this is all, where does this all come from? It comes from the Patriot Act, which started with the, you know, the attack on the World Trade Center. Yeah, okay. From, in, or about September 2015, when the CFTC issued public enforcement orders clarifying that cryptocurrencies are commodities for purpose of this CEA, Commodity Exchange Act, and continuing up to and including at least September 2020, each of the defendants knew that BitMEX could not serve U.S. customers without complying to U.S. and KYC requirements. Okay, granted that BitMEX did not have adequate. Well, I don't know about that. Who gets to decide what adequate is? That BitMEX did not have adequate AML and KYC programs, and that BitMEX, in fact, continued to serve customers in the United States. Each of the defendants willfully caused BitMEX failure to adopt or implement adequate AML KYC programs or aided and abetted that failure. So basically what they're doing is they're now turning what should be at best a civil case into a criminal case. And this is what is going to make this such a serious, this is what really, guys, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. This is a big, big deal. Each of the defendants has a relevant times actively encouraged or allowed BitMEX to be accessed and used by U.S. customers and failed to take steps to effectively restrict U.S. customers from accessing BitMEX, as described below. Well, that's going to be, if they get through the jurisdiction thing, then this is where the next battle will be, because they certainly did. It may not be the standards that the United States wants, but why should the United States be the one to make that standard? It's just a circular argument all the way through here. Each of the defendants has a relevant times actively encouraged or allowed BitMEX to be accessed to. Okay. For instance, Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, Samuel Reed, and Gregory Dyer, the defendants knew that specific customers residing in the United States continued to access BitMEX platform in or about 2018. With knowledge of Hayes, Dalo, Reed, and Dwyer, each of them failed to take steps to deactivate the accounts of these U.S. customers. Okay, knew this. Well, that. If that's true, they're going to have to show it, because the best of my knowledge, I know that anytime I was shut down years ago, and as soon as I logged in with a U.S. VPN or U.S. When I logged in from the U.S., I got shut down immediately, and I lost all of my referrals. They did not take my funds. I want to make that clear. They haven't stolen from anybody. When they shut down your account, they always returned all of your Bitcoin. Okay. So, but they're saying that Dalo and Dyer knowingly allowed one of these customers to access BitMEX using a non-U.S. passport in the name of a third party that did not belong to this customer. Okay, I don't know why it's, again, you're picking up any little thing you can to attach these guys to something that they were doing their best to avoid. Dalo also allowed another customer to continue access a BitMEX trading account despite this customer being US based, because he's famous in Bitcoin, and falsely changed his customer's internal country of residence to a country other than the United States. Okay. This is going to start bringing up Bitcoin personalities, guys. I have an idea. We're going to find out who this famous Bitcoin person is. And that's sad, guys. This is really disgusting. Reed allowed a friend of his who he knew resided in the United States to continue to access BitMEX's platform up to and including at least in or about October 2018. Well, this changes the picture a little bit because what they can do now is this is a kind of like they have qualified immunity type of thing for government officials. Basically, if this guy acted independent and in contrary to their own internal KYC policies, which was if they knew you're a citizen to shut it down, and he did it anyway. That's an individual. That's a violation by that specific individual and not by BitMEX as a company, because they had the policies in place, and because that policy wasn't followed does not implicate the company, but it would implicate only that individual. Okay, so Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, Samuel Reed, Gregory Dard, the defendants had access to internal BitMEX reports, okay, which tracked and reported trading revenue by country monthly. Each and every report in or from about November 2017 through and or about 2018 shows U.S. customers trading on BitMEX's platform. Okay. Okay. So less than a year, they did have, for a little less than a year, apparently they're saying that they got a report showing that he had U.S. citizens trading on the BitMEX platform. In a deposition before the CFTC in about January 2019, Reed falsely denied knowing that BitMEX maintained reports identifying U.S. customers on the platform. In truth and in fact, in or about 2018, Reed received a report dated on or about 2018, which showed trading revenue attributable to U.S. customers. So probably that we're going to go after a charge of lying to a federal officer or something like that if apparently he made a deposition before the CFTC. But these guys have been targeted for years, and this is a clampdown. This is the heavy hit clampdown, and this is very, very important. After in or about September 2015, when the CFTC issued the public enforcement orders clarifying that cryptocurrencies are commodities for the purpose of Commodities Exchange Act, BitMEX announced that it was withdrawing from the U.S. market. Okay, BitMEX implemented an internet protocol, IP address check. Okay, they acknowledge that part. That's good. The IP address check purportedly designed to identify and block customers located in the United States from trading on BitMEX. But as the defendants well knew, and as the defendants intended, BitMEX applied the IP address check on just a single occasion for each customer. What? As a result, if a customer showed a non-U.S. IP address for the IP address check, that customer could thereafter access and trade on BitMEX's platform from the U.S. What? That doesn't make sense. I'm not aware of that at all. I think they're going to have a problem with that one. As a result, if a customer showed a non-port. Okay. So they're saying, yeah, that basically if somebody used a VPN, okay. The defense also caused BitMEX to further undermine the effectiveness of the IP address check by, among other methods, providing an anonymous means of accessing the platform through the Tor network. Okay, so what's wrong with that? a special interest network that makes it practically impossible to physically locate the computers hosting or accessing websites on the network. The defendants also caused BitMEX to take no steps to restrict access of BitMEX via virtual private networks, VPN. Okay, which the defendants knew allowed U.S. customers to circumvent the IP address check by making it appear as though they were accessing BitMEX from outside the United States. The defendants also caused BitMEX to implement a policy through at least in or about September or October 2018, which exempted U.S. IP addresses. And only U.S. IP addresses from internal terms of service rule, which putatively blocked BitMEX access from IP addresses in certain restricted jurisdictions. Okay. BitMEX also engaged in marketing activities with the effect and intent of attracting U.S. customers. Arthur Hayes and Gregory Dwyer, the defendants, regularly attended cryptocurrency conferences in New York and elsewhere in the United States and had meetings in the United States with potential and existing customers based in the U.S. And that does concern me because I was wondering why Arthur Hayes was coming to the United States and attending all these conferences. He should have been, if you're going to play this game with the regulators, you cannot let them, you just, at every level, you have to distance yourself from them, and you have to. Hopefully, they're all three in a place where they can't be arrested, because they will be arrested and they will consider them flight risks and probably hold them unbondable, which is another thing that you've lost. People in the United States just don't get it. You no longer have the right to bail. It was taken away from you through statutory law long ago. Okay, in or about May 2018, BitMEX rented 3 Lamborghinis and had them parked outside the Consensus Bitcoin conference in Manhattan. Arthur Hayes, the defendant, declared this stunt a success based on the coverage from U.S. news media. And in or about 2018, Arthur Hayes, the defendant, made repeated appearances on U.S. television shows with viewership primarily in the United States, which he promoted BitMEX. From at least in or about September 2015 up to and including in or about September 2020 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, Samuel Reed, Gregory Dwyer, and the defendants did willfully cause a financial institution to violate the Bank Secrecy Act by failing to establish, implement, and maintain an anti-money laundering program that satisfies the minimum standards required by 31 U.S.C. subsection 5318 and 5322 and 31 CFR subchapters 1026.210, 1026, 220. Oh, gosh. Lawyers. To wit, the defendants caused BitMEX, a futures commission merchant with U.S. customers, to fail to establish and implement anti-money laundering program that includes policies, procedures, internal controls, reasonably designed to prevent BitMEX from being used for money laundering or terrorist financing, independent compliance testing, ongoing training for appropriate personnel, and risk-based procedures for verifying the identity of each BitMEX customer. Let me check in briefly and see what we're doing here on BitMEX. The market continue on down, or how bad are they hitting it now? Boom. No, it's holding well. I think they're going to survive this thing with flying colors. Probably going to be buying a dip. But let's go back. Okay. The grand jury further charges the allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 29 of this indictment are repeated and realleged as if set forth fully herein from at least in or about September 2015 up to and including at least about 2020. the Southern District of New York, and elsewhere, Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, Samuel Reed, and Gregory Dwyer, the defendants, willfully and nobly did combine and conspire and confederate and agree together and with each other. Yes, they're businessmen, they're entrepreneurs, and hopefully they all were agreed in what they were doing. The question is, why is this even a consideration? That, you know, guys, this is your Patriot Act in action. And these are not known terrorists. These are people that have really been innovative entrepreneurs that have provided an escape clause from these tyrannical governments, and now they're going to face the consequences. And hopefully, they've got deep enough pockets that they can win this thing, and smart enough, because this is going to be rough. Okay, the defendants caused BitMEX, a futures commission merchant with U.S. customers, to fail to establish and implement an anti-money laundering program that includes policies, procedures, internal controls reasonably designed to prevent BitMEX from being used for money laundering or terrorist financing, independent compliance testing, ongoing training for appropriate personnel, and risk-based procedures for verifying the identity of each BitMEX customer to the extent reasonable and practical. Of course, the United States government is going to determine what is reasonable and practical. It's something that, as entrepreneurs, we're not smart enough to assess those things on our own. In furtherance of the conspiracy and to the effect that illegal objects thereof, Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Dalo, Samuel Reed, and Gregory Dyer, the defendants, together with others known and unknown, committed the following overt acts in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. From at least in or about 2017, in or about 2019, BitMEX personnel, including Dwyer and others, conducted BitMEX operations from an office in Manhattan, New York, including but not limited to customer support, business development, marketing, and involves customers located in the United States and elsewhere. Now, that is a problem, guys. That you kind of, in my opinion, you're really fucked up there. So you kind of put your foot out to get stepped on. So I don't know how you're going to cover that one. From at least in or about September 2015 through at least in or about 2019, Hayes, Dalo, Reed, and Dwyer allowed particular known customers who resided in the United States to obtain and maintain access to BitMEX in violation of its purported user ban. Now, this will be a problem. If they had this in effect and they violated their own policies, and it can be shown that they pretty well have lost their argument, particularly since they're one and the same as the company. If you write policies and procedures, guys, you have to follow them. Okay, in or about 2018, Hayes was notified of claims that BitMEX was being used to launder the proceeds of cryptocurrency hack. Neither Hayes nor other BitMEX employee took any action to implement formal AML policy in response. Okay. All right, so this is a sealed indictment, and this is not sure yet if this is, well, it's more than civil. It looks like they're going to go criminal. What is 31 US? Okay, let me go up here. I got that. Okay. I'm not going to withdraw. I don't have much on there, and I think, you know, I'd be foolish for them to look. I think this is going to be political in some degree too. I think it's the most important thing is we really need to come to their defense. What it's doing is pointing out the real problem, and the problem is not BitMEX. The problem is again the government regulation. Yeah, wherever it was. Again, my mentor is E.C. Harwood, and he early on recognized the three greatest swindles of all time. Number one is inflation, which is evident now. How our savings are just stolen from beneath underneath us through inflating, devaluing the currency. Number two is Social Security, which would be a criminal enterprise, except it's the government that has implemented the program. And the third is the SEC, a Security Exchange Commission, or basically these regulatory agencies who purport that they're protecting you when they're not protecting you at all. And this is one where people should have the freedom to trade where they want. It should be it's on us, but when the company tries to avoid that jurisdiction, say we want to maintain a free market without being under U.S. Jurisdiction, the U.S. wants power. They want control. It's a fascist state, so they allow private ownership as long as the government has control. And so then it becomes a lobbying thing where everybody has their little stake in Washington, D.C., lobbying for all the different laws that nobody can understand and that are thousands of pages long. Okay. Reed was arrested. All right. Could be. Reed was arrested. Okay. In Massachusetts. That's the problem. While you're in the United States, they just kind of ask for it. And he's not going to be given bond. And they basically hold you hostage, and they extort you to plead guilty. I can tell you my stories on it, and these prosecutors stop at nothing. I actually they commit fraud all the time. I had police that were doing surveillance on me. They actually used my children to conduct surveillance, and then when they brought charges against me, my defense was, hey, I was being set up, and lo and behold, it was only years later that I discovered about the surveillance, and they, of course, were required to give me that evidence, which was exculpatory, saying, hey, you know what, I was being set up, and but I never got those reports. And then I actually had one son that testified in federal court, and the U.S. attorney called him truant from the U.S. attorney's office, and he was subsequently suspended from school. So the law is only selectively enforced. And so the law is not law at all. It's really enforcement procedures, and it's the enforcement procedures that are thoroughly corrupt. Okay. Could be no bit mix withdrawals because okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't add anything more to it, guys. I'm not going to add any until it comes out. Hopefully they've got it figured out. Hopefully they had a contingency knowing that something like this could happen. When I went through my testifier, I was very ignorant at the time. And have since subsequently become much wiser. So I definitely want to keep up on this thing. I definitely think it's a pivotal issue for the Bitcoin community, and very, very important to what direction we go from here. Okay. Yes. I agree with that completely, Van BPC, that they haven't, but the government is arguing otherwise, and there is a problem if they, it kind of shows the whole thing. Never talk to the police. They should have never talked to them to begin with. They should have never set their foot on U.S. soil, and they should never go into any country where they can be extradited. It's really sad. But that's where we're at right now. Okay, can you scroll down?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it most likely will fly, but I think it needs to be fought at every level. Okay. Yeah, I think they've got it. You know what? My head, these guys are not stupid. So they know the game. So I don't know everything that's involved, but you want to limit your risk on any exchange. That's good. Well, Binance International sees similar things. I don't think that they're not as the threat that BitMEX is. BitMEX really was the innovator and really was able to show the regulated exchanges how an exchange should be operated. Binance has all kinds of problems with it. Number one, it's got all these shitcoins on deposit, as do all the, in which the government, they're fine with. BitMEX is the only one that was Bitcoin only. And everything is priced and denominated in Bitcoin, which makes it unique. Okay, what they are saying is you could trade on BitMEX with US, IP address. Okay, what are you saying? Okay. BTC mempool starting to stack up. That's probably people pulling BTC off exchanges. Okay. Sorry. Hang on. Sit down here for me. I got to go pee again. Sorry, guys. I'm an old guy. I got to go pee now.
It's all right. He says getting old sucks, so give him a minute. Wow. 62 people watching, man. That's good. Wow, 64 watching. 64 watching, 62 now.
What, on that one? Okay. And how about on Twitter? Okay. Let me go back. I can stop the screen share, guys. If you want to know the website we got this from, I'll read it to you guys so you can pick up on it. It's justice.gov/us/AO-press-release/file/1323316/download. So I'm going to stop the screen share now, and you can just look at me. Okay. It is outrageous, but it will probably fly. But I do think the outcome is going to be very important, and particularly how the Bitcoin community reacts to it. Can you scroll down a bit for me, Eddie? No, you don't trade on news. You don't trade on news, Gomez. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to process it. The issue is not going to be processing the withdrawals. The issue is going to be where you get your withdrawal tomorrow. And I'm not even going to put it in because, you know, everybody else will be doing that, I'm sure. And if it's gone, it's gone. And that's the risk you have to take, guys. Don't let your Bitcoin in 608s. Not your key, not your Bitcoin. All right. Okay. Okay, what? Okay, keep scrolling.
Okay.
Mempool starting to back up. That didn't surprise me. Okay, the only use case that ever been developed for Bitcoin is criminality. Yeah, that's the only government use case. No, but there's a lot of us. I'm kind of doing no criminal activity, and
here's a good one.
No, I already addressed that.
Okay.
I'm not going to withdraw my funds. If the funds are, if they're going to get shut down, you can make a withdrawal request, but you won't get them tomorrow. I mean, the next step we have to watch is does the U.S. government have the ability to shut down the website? I would hope that these guys have it figured out where they can. But I mean, this is a big shutdown. They want. And this is not even so much from the regulators, it's from the it's from the regulated exchanges. It's from those established commodity futures markets who is basically established the CFTC and control the CFTC. And don't fool yourselves. They are not helping the consumers. The consumers wanted BitMEX, and it's the CFTC who wants to destroy it. Okay. Minvo, okay. Okay, Jim Rickards is wrong. What's Jim Rickards? I don't know what. Jim said the only use case is, well, yeah, Jim Rickards is definitely wrong. It's not. Okay. John Bolton's book said Trump told his leaders to go after Bitcoin in July 2020. Well, I don't think Trump is no friend of free markets. Okay, he might be able to manipulate, the downfall of the economy and stick the banks to a greater degree than other people would. But we're all basically socialists now. You're either a left-wing Marxist or you're a right-wing fascist. And like I say, there's two kinds of socialism, and one, the Marxism is they want government ownership and government control, and then there's fascism, and that's what we have in the United States, and that is where you have private ownership but government control. Bitcoin is private ownership and private control. Okay. Do I think it'll affect the prices? I don't know. You guys, if you're listening, I'm just not excited about Bitcoin. I think we have to, at the very least, go sideways for quite a while, and maybe it wouldn't surprise me if we get hit hard again. This might be the crowning blow, what we need. I hope it is. This might be what Bitcoin will emerge from this, and it's going to be the altcoins that aren't. Okay. BitMEX down? I don't think so. Eddie, do your impression of James Cagney.
James Cagney?
Yeah, I didn't know that you had a James Cagney.
Can do it? What?
Yeah, you don't even know who James Cagney is, do you?
No, he's an actor.
Yeah, he's an old-time actor. Okay. BitMEX would have been better off locating in communist China or Putin's Russia. Yeah.
What the hell? I don't know I could do it.
Huh?
How did I do it?
I don't know. We'll have to go check that. Well, let's go check. I don't think. Let me go here. Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, BitMEX is trading. Oh yeah, yeah. I did look at the. Boom. I do want to look at how I noticed both the stock market and the gold have just been rallying. Has gold continued its rally? No, it's held it though. And again, I think that this is, I've been looking for the turn in gold. I think we finally got it. It looks like I barely survived my fundamental seasonal trade.
No, can't find it.
Okay. But I can do. Let's go see. Am I screen sharing now?
No. Go.
Let me go look and see if Arthur Hayes is saying anything on Twitter. I don't think he probably has. Arthur Hayes. how come I'm not? How come he didn't show up? Is Arthur Hayes still, did he take Arthur Hayes off of Twitter, guys? I don't know. Why am I not getting him? There we go. Okay. Well, yeah, he hasn't posted anything, it looks like, since yesterday. So he's kind of MIA right now. And how do I do screen share? Again, I go down here and
click on the image.
Oh, image up here.
There you go, the bottom.
Okay.
Over here.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, there's Arthur Hayes. You know, I follow him and I've been wanting to get him on the show sometime, but he hasn't tweeted today at all. And so he's MIA, which isn't surprising. Hopefully he's safe somewhere and outside of the clutches of the United States government. Who said that? Who was arrested? Can you scroll up? Let's see if we can Google that. Okay. Okay. CTO. Yeah. Okay. Reed was arrested in Massachusetts. Let me see if that pops up anywhere. Okay. Okay, here we go. Reuters. We got a Reuters article. U.S. charges BitMEX crypto founders with failing to prevent money laundering. So this is a Reuters, which is pretty accurate. Says U.S. prosecutors on Thursday filed criminal charges accusing 4 founders and executives of BitMEX, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency derivative exchanges, of evading rules designed to stop money laundering, which all this stems from the Patriot Act, guys, from the World Trade Center reaction. We got that along with a nice war that killed thousands of young men and hundreds of thousands of Middle Easterners. The Department of Justice charged Arthur Hayes, Samuel Reed, and Benjamin Dalo, who together founded BitMEX in 2014. Gregory Dwyer, its first employee and later head of business development, with violating the Federal Bank Secrecy Act and conspiring to violate that law. Hayes, 34, of Buffalo, New York, and Hong Kong, is also chief executive of BitMEX, while Reed is chief technical officer. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission filed a separate. Now this is separate. This is the CFTC is civil, okay, and this indictment is criminal, and this is where it's getting serious because there's no reason for them to file criminal charges except they are targeted by people more powerful than themselves. We strongly disagree with the U.S. government's heavy-handed decision to bring these charges and intend to defend the allegations vigorously. A spokesman for BitMEX's parent HDR Global Trading and said, "I do too. I think it's criminal that they brought criminal charges." Lawyers for the individual defendants could not be immediately identified. An indictment filed in Manhattan federal court, and the defendants flouted their obligation to implement anti-money laundering program with a know your customer requirement, which they knew was needed because BitMEX served U.S. customers. Their steps allegedly included incorporating BitMEX in the securities because it is seemingly less stringent, has less stringent regulations. And where Arthur Hayes once bragged it would cost less to bribe authorities just a coconut than in the United States. Boy, that's a hit home. Yeah, just ask who's the former regulator in New York who now works for Ripple. You can see how much it costs to get the approval in the United States, and just how much your SEC and the CFTC is protecting you. Oh, man. Okay. BitMEX ultimately made itself a vehicle for money laundering and sanctions violations, which included claims it was used to launder proceeds of a cryptocurrency hack, and customers from Iran traded on its platform, the indictment said. The defendants will soon learn the price of their alleged crimes will not be paid with tropical fruit. Oh, what a smart ass. FBI Assistant Director William Sweeney. Yeah, and you FBI directors, the FBI guys, you all lie and you all steal money. Look, I was in jail. I interviewed all your drug convicts. Sorry, but you guys think you got, so you're wrong, Hannity. The corruption in the FBI is not at the top. It's through and through, from the bottom up. All you got to do is interview anybody that's been arrested on drugs. The drugs and the money never match. The most honest FBI special agents, they only take the money, a part of the money. They don't take the drugs. Oh man, this is what power does to you guys. It just corrupts. It just makes it corrupt. And these guys have innovated so much in the futures market that the powers that be, those regulated exchanges, they want to destroy these guys. And it's, this is to me, this is a hill that needs worth dying on. If you got to die on a hill, this is the first one that we have in Bitcoin, where this is the opening salvo of what you're going to be up against. Okay, the defendants will soon learn the price. What a smart ass. Of their alleged crimes will not be paid for with tropical fruit. Right. Each count carries a maximum of 5 years in prison term. That's right. Reed was arrested in Massachusetts. The other defendants are at large. The case, U.S. versus Hayes, U.S. District Court, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so there it is, guys. There they are. Very, very, very sad day. Very sad day. Very, very sad day.
Scroll down.
So
There you go.
So that's all there is now. I mean, I hope these guys are in a safe jurisdiction, because the next step is they want to lock them all up and they're going to deny them bond. They're going to keep them in the same place that they kept Epstein up there in New York.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's Southern District of New York, which is a hellhole. Like, I hope this opens up the corruption, the thorough corruption in the United States government, and it's at every level, guys. It just is at every level. It's very, very sad commentary here. And of course, these guys were successful. It's so easy for that to go to your head and think that you get the King Kong complex. So at the very least, I think we need to lobby right away to get any criminal charges against them dropped, because they were, the innovation that they offered in the marketplace is just incredible, and you're killing the possible solutions to what we need and for what lies ahead are getting killed, which is going to just make the coming chaos even worse. And that's why I'm not of the opinion that these riots in the United States are less than what were done during the Vietnam War. I think they're much more widespread. I think they're much more, they're really riots without a cause. Back in the 1970, we had this horrible war going on completely. It was a guns and butter policy. So anyway, Bitcoiners unite. What else can I say? We have to watch each other's backs and Oh, that's a good one. Fake Arthur Hayes said, "Now I know what it's like to be liquidated." All right. Well, you know what? Uh, Not yet. They don't have him physically in their grasp yet. So if he can stay out of their jurisdiction and fight this thing from afar, he's going to be much better off. The last thing you want to do is get under the thumbs where you're going to be held without bail, without bond. Now, there are some people, the last person that was hit was something similar like this, I think it was Joby Weeks. But that was, a Ponzi scheme, and that should have been closed down, and it was. He's going to be answering for it, and I don't want anybody to go through that. I've been through it. It's all these people at the shitcoins. I'm not your enemy. I'm not the guy that wants to lock you up. I don't want anybody to go through what I did. I was over 11 years in prison, and so I learned money management the hard way. I haven't made that mistake ever since I got out. Okay. Yes, I agree with you, but much more even so in the commodity. This is not Wall Street. No, I've never met Joby Weeks. I don't know. I saw him speak at one, I think the anarcho conference in 2000. Was that 17? I think it's the one I was at. Yeah, but I've heard him talk, but I knew pretty well that, it was a scam because of the structure of the thing. Look at. Okay, what is that? What is fake? Yes, everybody that knows Joby Weeks is he's a really nice guy, and it seemed like he's a people person. That's why he was such a good spokesperson. My wife was very very interested in getting into his program, and I steered her away from it. I said, no, you don't want to be in any kind of multi-level marketing program. But and he was living a high life. It wasn't like and when it came crashing down, that was it. It wasn't. In my case, I was not living a high life. I did everything I could. I actually ran my business for a year and a half while in prison before it collapsed. And then I was in state prison when that happened. And then as soon as I got released from the state, and then the feds picked up on me. Anyway, I learned what the law is all about, and I learned it's all about enforcement. It's really got nothing to do with the law. Okay, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see if does somebody look and see, is there a tweet out there from BitMEX itself addressing the issue? I can look at, let me get to my Twitter account. We'll see. Let's see at BitMEX. Okay. Nope, nothing there. Yeah, see, yeah, BitMEX research. And BitMEX has done some great research too, guys. Yeah, let's see. Now, I don't expect we'll be hearing from anybody too soon on that. Yeah, and I'm sure everybody's going to be trying to withdraw. Let's go look at this skew again. I'm sure open interest is just falling like a rock. Let's see. And the sad part is my favorite, the best trading platform that's ever been around, and yeah, that's not right. And it looks like I may not have that trading platform anymore. I might have to do some switching. I hope not, because it's really a good platform. But it wouldn't be the first or last time. All right. All right, so there you go, guys. You can see that ever since this announcement came in, the open interest it really hasn't dropped that much. Yeah, I mean, it really hasn't dropped that much. You're 845,000, and now it's at 848. So it's you know, I think it's yeah. And look at this, the market, the market's going back up. I don't think we just have to wait and be patient. I'm not panicking. I mean, that's why you limit your exchange risk, guys. And geez, yeah, down 5%, big deal. And we're in a trading range, so actually that's kind of bullish. What we're doing is the scared money is an X thing, and I get it. I'm lightly long, and that's the daily chart. Let's look at the 30-minute. Come on. Oh, there we go. All right. So I'm just not looking for a big move in Bitcoin either way. I think we're going to have to sort all this out. And this is a battleground. And I think we all need to take our stand on this thing. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It'll also be interesting to see just who is on what side of these things, because there's a lot of people that, you know, they hate BitMEX because they are so successful. And then of course, the problem with any exchange, anytime that people lose, the last thing they ever do is blame themselves. If you're a follower of mine, if you're on which I don't know how many of you guys are tuning in off of Twitter. I started this thing as a membership only thing, and then when we saw that there was a sealed indictment, I decided, well, let's go through this sealed indictment, and we read it publicly. So we also put the YouTube address on Twitter. So if you want to see where we started at the very beginning with the indictment, you can go to that feed. We put it on YouTube, on Twitter Live, because I think this is very significant in the marketplace. And we've got to, this is where the line has been drawn in the sand. And I hope that we can pull out a victory here, because if we don't, you're going to see more exchanges like Coinbase develop. And the Backit develop, rather than the truly legitimate and innovative exchange, which is BitMEX. And the fact that the government had little or no control over it is why they're going after them. It's just that simple. Open interest has been dropping, but not radically so. I'll show you that again. Here's the scoop. And the open interest has dropped from 854 to 848. So it's dropped, but you can expect that. You can have people liquidating their position. There'll be people have until, I don't know what, in about 16 hours or so, they'll be doing the withdrawals, and then we'll find out if it's operational tomorrow or not. Because if you're asking for a withdrawal and you don't get it, then we pretty well know that BitMEX is going to be or will not be a viable exchange until this thing is worked out. Hopefully they've got things in place so the system does not depend on these guys. And it looks like they only got one. So they were smart enough not to all be in U.S. jurisdiction at the same time, because if they all got picked up, it'd be a whole different story. So they do have the money, to defend themselves, and that's really positive. And because it's going to take a big bank to beat these guys, a big bank. Okay. Well, I'm done. Unless you guys want me to cover anything, I can show you my positions again. I'm not doing anything much in the marketplace. I've been trading here a little bit. I've doubled my equity here in the last few weeks. I started with about 0.7. We're at 1 point, almost 1.5. I had a little dip today, but I'm basically long Bitcoin, short the alts a little bit, and but it's a very small position. I'm much more friendly to the stock market and gold right now, and so. And if we go to that, let's see where that is. Oh, that's a gold silver ratio. I think gold is here. Let's see what this is. All right, so here we are at gold. It looks like we're going to close above 1900 today, which I think will be a milestone. And I do think that most likely we for those that are not subscribers, I did recommend a seasonal fundamental seasonal trade of buying Bitcoin in August. I bought it much too high, about 1948 is my average now. So I'm still at a loss, but it's not based on anything technical. It's just based on a strong seasonal for an up move. And the fundamentals I also think favor gold now. More than about anything except maybe the stock market. Stock market, I think it's up to, let's see where that is. No, that's gold. So let's see, trading view. USB. Yeah, we have a big 5-day gap that this thing just looks like it held its gain and a little sell off today, but pretty. All right. We have this 5 days in here that we just left alone. And so it looks to me like the stock market's going up. And if it does, I think it's going to enter maybe into a hyperwave on the stock market, and then that should take care of it. And then I think that's somewhere along the line, Bitcoin's going to take over again. But I think this is going to put a damper on Bitcoin for a while. So, all right, well, I'm done unless you guys have anything else to contribute. So again, it's a very sad day for the Bitcoin, and it is kind of the opening salvo of what's to come in the Bitcoin regulation world. And this is not, this is a move very much in the wrong direction, which isn't surprising because that's the way governments usually operate. So, well, thanks for tuning in. Let's stop share. I appreciate it, guys. I keep everything real simple. I am a fundamental Bitcoin believer. Bitcoin is sound money. We hodl it, we accumulate it. That's where our center of gravity is. That's where we are stable. And everything else works around that. And so that's why we hodl. And you add over time, as you accumulate Bitcoin, you will profit from it. And so we do what I call save. And now that is a bastardization of the word savvy. I call it SAYVV. And because you want to reward yourself for being a hodler. And then the third thing is you build. And building does not necessarily mean that you have to build on Bitcoin. And one ways I started is I started the Ugly Old Goat website. But I had another business before that, And my recommendation is just become the very best at whatever your trade is. You can be a plumber or electrician, you can have a car wash, you might be an employee and work for someone, but just be the very best at that. And then when you can and you're ready, become independent, and then put yourself on the Bitcoin standard. So that's, I try and keep it real simple on that. If you keep it simple, my trading guys, I try and keep it real simple. And a lot of people, they think that I have magic beans. I'm not that good a trader, but I'll match my track record against anyone. And it's not because I'm that good. It's because I've learned to manage the funds. If you can learn to manage your funds, you will be a successful trader. It's because what you have to do is avoid getting ruined. It's okay to get wrecked. Okay, it's okay to get wrecked. I just put a fairly sizable trade on in gold. I almost got wrecked. I haven't yet. I still look for it to be a very profitable trade, but hadn't worked out yet. But nevertheless, if for those that are subscribers, I started with a little over half a Bitcoin this year, and I've taken out 29 Bitcoin. And last year, I started on February 4th with 2 and took out 32. And before that, when I started publishing my trades on Medium, I had 2 Bitcoin and ran it into 22. And so what I'm doing this, not because I have to, because I can retire. I don't have to be doing this. I love doing it. Okay. And this is kind of my battle. So I love doing it. I love teaching you guys. I don't have to trade. But I want to, and I want to be responsible to you, so you can see how it's done, so you can learn to be responsible in your own trading. It's really not important whether you go long or short. There's no magic points. You have to get it in your head to manage your funds. You get that down. That once that becomes a part of your DNA, then you can start applying fundamentals and technical analysis. So if you've never tuned in before, I'll suggest a couple of go to the website and hit the blogs, and hit the very first article that we promote is how to profit from a Bitcoin like a large trader. And basically it outlines how you do it by dollar cost averaging over a period of time. Once you have that hodl, then you can start trading. And you do need to learn to trade. And it's mainly control over yourself more than it's, because you have no control over the markets, but you do control your equity. And so that's where the successful trading comes, not from knowing where the market's going. I don't know. I'm the last one to know where the market's going. Make no claims. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Can't wait to follow this drama. My prayers are with my friend and spirit. Never met the guy, but I love Arthur Hayes. I love what these guys have done, and they've got my support in spirit and in my heart. So to end, we're gonna hodl, hodl, hodl. Save, 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 build a, sound money, sound money. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.